We absolutely love what we do. If you like what we do, why not buy us a coffee? Just follow the link in the description below.
Don't raise your voice to prove you're right. Focus your mind with every word of irrefutable fact you can find. Because conviction is the calm that comes when you know that you really do know. People who read the Financial Times know that they can shape their own perspectives with confidence because their viewpoints are informed by genuinely unbiased journalism. Clarity and conviction. Source FT. Subscribe to the Financial Times at ft.com/sourceft.
When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
We quilt this city with a comfy roll.
Quilted Northern is quilted with 3 cushy layers for your comfort.
The quilted comfort of Quilted Northern.
Keep it quilted with Quilted Northern.
And welcome all to part 2 of There's Only One Terry Curran joining us today. Is our pal, don't need any introduction. Genius, legend, maverick, top man, mate. Buddy, Alan Hudson, how are you, mate? You okay? And TC,
I'm good, mate.
All right, boys.
And I would second that, Gavin, because he is one of our geniuses, especially where the game is most important in the midfield.
Yeah.
And we have ruined people like Uddy, Curry, stacks of them. You know, stacks of players we've ruined, you know, because we prefer the box-to-box players. You know, it's crazy. I'm not saying you've got to have 11 Alan Hudsons in Jim. I'm not saying that one little bit.
Well, I'll tell you something, which is a good thing to start the show. It's quite incredible in my eyes. When Tuchel was given the job, I see the way he won the Champions League with Chelsea. Chelsea weren't good enough to win the Champions League, but he won it with. But I said, when Tuchel takes over, he's going to put all the best players in. Next thing you know, he's got Jordan Henderson, and he's brought the other lad back, Loftus-Cheek.
Yep.
Put him in his squad. I'm thinking, how wrong could I be about this bloke? You know, where's all our creation going to come from here? You know, and that's exactly what you're saying, Tel. All the creative players have always been ignored, and this fella's doing it again. You know, it's almost as if it's unwritten in the contract that you've got to pick these.
Go on, sorry.
I just can't. You know, the kid at Chelsea's injured at the moment. Palmer.
Not Carl. What's his name?
Carl Palmer.
Come on, Gabby.
Carl Palmer is injured.
Carl Palmer, yeah.
Jack's just moved to Everton.
I mean, he's a one-off. You know, you got to play him.
Yeah.
I've seen another kid who played him, lovely player. They won't pick him, but the teams they've been picking at the moment in midfield is just. I like the kid he's brought in that played for Notts Forest. Has gone to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Elliot. Whatever his name is.
Gone the other way, and he's from Newcastle to Forest, Elliot Anderson. Al, what would your midfield trio be? Would you be playing a 4-3-3? And then Terry after? What would your midfield trio be, Al, first?
No, I'm a great believer in when I played in the Chelsea team in 70 and I moved on to Stoke, but we had a good system. I like the 4-2-4 and play the wingers, someone like Terry. Who, when we lose the ball, just become midfield players.
Yep.
And just, you know, it's 4-4-2 and in none of all this 4-3-2-1-5 game, you know, because I've never seen that system. These systems they don't stick to anyway. I see Eze play the other night, not the last game, but the game before, and he was like standing in the middle of about 7 opposition players. I don't know how he was expecting to get the ball. He was lost. There's no kind of role for him to play if they what they call, I've never understood the number 10. What does that mean? I really don't know what that means. I'm confused.
Well, I'll tell you what it's called. It's called Pele and Messi.
Yeah,
that's what they try and get our players to play that way as a number 10, but they don't play technical players in that 10 role or area. They play a box-to-box player still in that area. So,
well,
what you're saying is 100% right. But the 10 is a Messi and a Pele. That's what it is, and that's We look at Gaza. Let's look at Gaza. He's after when I was playing. I was a midfield player. I know he got injured, and I know there was certain things, but he even played him with the wrong type of players around him. I remember going from Sheffield Wednesday to United. I got a lot of stick for it, but nothing ever bothers me. I just get on with what I want to do. And we were travelling down to Portsmouth, and he said to me, "What would the midfield players you would pick?" I said, "Well, I would play at ball as the holding midfield player." And he said to me, "Why would you do that?" I said, "Because he moves the ball early enough." I said, "The other two I would play in there because they're both natural players, both got natural feet. Is Hudson and Curry, right?" And I said, "I wouldn't be afraid to tell Bally, get the fucking ball and give it to them two, and keep it moving early, because the quicker we can get the ball into areas to people what can." Play between we played between the lines when we were fucking playing, when you were playing, when Jimmy Greaves and all them were playing. All this, playing between the lines is not new. It's what's been happening for years. But it's players like you. Frank was a midfield player, but as a striker, he could play that ball through, even for someone like you will make a run off the ball coming forward. We've just destroyed those type of players. And you get frustrated. I know people like you, and I don't know you that well. I met you once with Bally. I told you once it was at Stratford Races.
Yeah.
You were in some corporate area, and then me and Bally gone up there to races, and I met you there. But I knew enough about you to know why. Well, I knew why they didn't play you, because they are fearful of people like you, Charlie, George. I don't know whether you get on with Charlie. Alan was a great lover of Charlie, and I said to Alan, he's the best player I've ever played with, ever. And I played with John Robertson, Sheets. I played with unbelievable great players. Charlie got everything, but regardless of what he says and what you say and what I say, it hurts you at times how they treat you.
Well, I think you can. The more you look at players and everything else, and it all boils down. It's all about managers. It's all about their ideas or what they got. But honestly, in my day, too, I was banned for 3 years through Ramsey. Ramsey was going to pick me and didn't. And then I got injured, didn't go to the World Cup. And then, lo and behold, he got the sack in '74, and I thought I was gone by then. I didn't want to play for England. I had no interest. I was so happy playing for Stoke. I didn't want to. So happy playing for Waddy in the Stoke Sea. I didn't want to play. And Revy put by my manager kind of put pressure on the press. They put pressure on Revy, and he picked me. He could have picked me in 2 games before, but he saved me for the world champions, West Germany, thinking that I could knack it. And it rebounded on him. It rebounded on himself. And anyway, So, next thing you know, I was a mug, really. I should have packed up there and then, because I knew he ain't going to keep me in the team. We're going to beat Cyprus 5-0, where Malcolm got 5 goals. I know what he's done. He's put me in as an overage player with Jimmy Greenoff in a game in Hungary. And he slaughtered us too. He gave us you'll never play for me again. So it was all personal. He picked Jimmy Greenoff because we were having it off at Stoke. But he picked him in as an overage player in Hungary. Why didn't he put him in a 4 international? He was 27 7 years of age, playing in an under-23 team.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible our coaches and managers. I mean, they deserve they've deserved what they've got. That they can't get big jobs anymore because they've coached the same way. They've all gone to Lillyshaw, and then obviously now it's changed from Lillyshaw. But majority of them don't think outside the box. It's all about not losing and getting behind the ball. But he's not playing players what's bright enough to expand when they don't have the ball, or when they got the ball, and how to use it quickly enough to give them. I mean, time is your touch. If you've got a great touch, you've got time. The other part about time is when you can find space and not be picked up. But in today's modern day game, it's not like when we were playing. They would man mark you, wouldn't they? I mean, when at Southampton, when I was at Southampton, I mean, we never came across you, but we came across Liam Brady, and we had a kid called Andrew Maniszewski, and he would man mark him, follow him all over the place. Trevor Francis, when we played Birmingham, that's what he would do with him. Tony Curry, when we played Leeds, that's what he would do with him. You know, there's none of that in the modern day game where people get man marked, and you know, by getting man marked, you've got two options. Then they're not giving the ball because the person won't give you the ball because you're marked, or they're not clever enough to give you the ball, or understand that you can handle that situation, scenario, when you're marked. Players what's got the ability, like yourself and Curry's of this world, and Borley, are capable of getting out of any tight situation, because your brain, your natural football brain, will make you think quicker to get out of it.
Well, absolutely. I remember sitting down in America with Eddie McCready when he packed up, and he lived in Tennessee. I went and sat with him. I was sitting in the garden having a drink with him. He weren't drinking. He'd had enough by then, and I was asking him about Jim Baxter, and I said, you know, must have been amazing playing with him, you know, just to get the ball as you do, and you give it to him and kind of watch him, you know, yes, as a defender. And he said to me, how he says there was nothing greater to play with him. He said, and I'm not bullshitting you. He said, like yourself, I got it at the bridge. First thing I looked at was you. You were there 5 yards away, 10 yards away. I'll give you no matter what. He says, and before you, Venables was a bit like that. Venables was always there on hand. You know, you always had that player on hand to give. And that's what defended, because Eddie wasn't, he was self-confessed.
I can remember Eddie at left back.
Did he ever kick you?
He never got near me. I only played against him a couple of times.
It was a bit
but going back to that, I don't know what happened with Doc there, because that was some football team you got together, Osgood, yourself. I can nearly name that team. You got Benetti, Eddie McCready, Webb, Dempsey, Chopper Harris, yeah, Ozzy, Tamblin, Charlie Cook. Fucking hell, what a play Charlie Cook was! What a winger he was.
Peter Houseman.
Yeah, Peter Houseman. Yeah, you know. So it was some team that, and it never had strength in depth, because football never had that. It had 14, 15 players, and that was it. Whereas today's footballers, it's 30 men, 30 players to a squad. You know, but when you've got players, Alan, look, I don't bullshit anybody. I say it as I see it. You can ask anybody. I was Puffy's favourite player when I was there. But me and Larry Lloyd were the only two. Kenny Burns never said nothing to him. Me and Larry Lloyd were the only two what would say things to him. Right? Now, when I look at somebody, right? So when I'm watching you, when we beat Germany, and you think, fucking hell, what a player this kid is. You know, I'm saying kid, you're older than what I am, but back then I'm thinking, you know, the future's bright, and then we don't want to play you. Mm-hmm. We can see that players like you, Curry and all them, balling, They find space. You find space. And you're capable of getting that ball. And not only hitting a quality 5 or 6 yard pass, you can hit that 25, 30 yard pass. But for some unknown reason, we've never wanted to do it. Glenn Hoddle was as good as anybody. Right? But he disappointed me, did Glenn, in a sense. When he comes as England manager, he set the players like him, like he got set by other managers. And it baffles me, that, Alan. It really it baffles me.
Well, I know there's a couple of identical stories. One was Spurs, people have told me, players, friends of mine, when he was manager of Spurs, when he was manager of England, he played in the five-a-sides. He wanted to be the best player. He shouldn't even be playing. Yeah. He should be watching his players. But he wanted. Alan Ball was a fantastic player. But at Stoke, the players fell out of him because he used to play in the five-a-sides with them, and he couldn't understand why they couldn't play like him. So there was two. So he knows the story, Paul. That in Stoke, he's known. Alan Ball, he's known. They say this thing about him. Because the captain of the Titanic come from Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
He lived in the same street as Stanley Matthews in Hanley. Mr. Smith, Captain Smith. And they said if Alan Ball had been at Stoke at that time, he would have took the Titanic down before Smith. That's what the Stoke fans say about Alan Ball. So, but that was all because of Alan Ball's problem with the inferior players.
Yeah. This is the problem. We've always had this. I'm only there with Bally. I wish he was still alive, just to prove a point. I want to deal with him for 8 months, 7 months, and I can remember watching him win World Cup as an 11-year-old Alan. Right, and when I went into Southampton, right, I'm only 23. I'd been at Forest under Clough. Went to Derby with Tommy Dot. I was still getting over the injury, and I can remember going in. I got a leather jacket on, and a pair of light blue jeans. And when I went in, he's the first person I saw. He was just getting changed, and he said to me, "Where's your motorbike?" And I said, "It's outside." Now we became friends, Alan. I'm a young kid breaking out into the game, and we went all over. And when I tell you this, I wish it was him what used to phone me up and follow me about and everything. I used to think to myself, as a young kid, as you know, when you go into the team, you follow the older players.
Well, there is. Not in general, but if you've got to have a lot of respect there, you know.
But for some unknown reason,
when you were the same thing, you were similar type of people. You were similar kind of footballers. You both loved football. You both, it was the same at Chelsea. It was the same. If I'm going out, I want to be with Boz.
What I'm going on to, when he took the Blackpool job, he phones me up. He said, "Come and have a look at these and see what you think." So when I go up there and I'm watching them and so and so, I said, "Alan, the problem is you've never played at this level. You don't know how to handle these players. You're expecting them to do things that you can't do." And I listened to it the other day for the first time on television. I heard someone turn around and say, why would we put Hudson at Portsmouth or Bally at Portsmouth when he's never played with those players? When Cruyff got a job, he went straight in at the highest level. When Cruyff got his job, he went straight in at the highest level. Beckenbauer went straight in. There's been some great players what's become great managers. Huh? But if you're having to work with players, what you can't now, what you look at it from that point of view is get the ball, get it away, bam, bum, bum, get as many promotions as you can, and then get the next biggest club what's going to come your way, and then you start coaching. I get that.
I'm with you, Terry, but I've got to say the same applies to players. You see these players keep going from top club to top club to top club. When I left Chelsea in '74, Stoke were fourth from bottom.
Bottom, yeah.
And I'd like to see a lot of these players go there and do what they're doing it in the big clubs. Man City passing it 100 times, and all that. Well, he didn't do. Stoke couldn't pass it 100 times, not in a week, if they trained all day long, at that time. But
that team were a good team, Alan. That's so. Yeah, I mean, well, they did win a League Cup. I can remember winning the League Cup and everything.
They beat our Chelsea team, yeah.
Yeah. It weren't a bad team. Obviously, when they sign players like you to play with people like Jimmy Greenoff, right, it made him an even better team. One player doesn't win you a league title, but he can make the team play. Because what you just said, I used to laugh. I come from a family of 7 brothers. I had a brother who scored 200 goals a season. He was Osgood Maddy, absolutely Osgood Maddy. He's a big Chelsea fan. And I look at it and I think to people, we come for a trial with Doncaster. And he said, I'm going home. And I said, why are you going home? He said, nobody passes. Ask for the ball. I went to Everton. I went to Forest. They were in second division, struggling. And Cloughie said to me, I'll get you an England cap. I said, I'll get my own England cap. And I said, I'll get you promotion. And we went up. Alan, that is true. That's on my death.
Yeah, I believe you.
Right?
Yeah.
I go to Everton, the second bottom at league. I went on loan. We finished up middle at table. We couldn't agree my wages. So I went back. He thought he was going to get away with it because he thought he only needed somebody to help him out and just turn him, because they were a good day. Well, it turned out they were a great team. It turned out to be a great team. But when I came back, they set off following season and they set off bad again. And that's how I finished up. My first game back for them, I got injured. Now, when I went to Doncaster, there was always applying for re-election. In those days, used to play for re-election. We never applied for re-election my first season there. I only there for one season, then I was bought by Cloughie. I got a bad injury there. And then Sheffield Wednesday, who I support, that's my team. And I look at the scenario where they were. And Morris Setters, who signed me at Doncaster, knew I was a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and he said to me, come and play for us. I mean, we were into Cinderella Rockefellers up in Leeds.
Before you go any further, was you at Doncaster with Brendan O'Callaghan?
Yes.
You were?
Me, Peter Kitchen.
Yeah.
Mickey Elvis. I don't know if you remember a kid called Mickey Elvis who finished up at Crystal Palace. Bobby Charlton bought him for Preston. But he had a lot of injuries. Good player. Looked like going on to, but he had bad injuries. So, you're 100% right. They couldn't play in those teams. People like you, what's got the bollocks to go and do it, and don't think about. When I say don't think, you think about it, but don't think about the consequences with it.
I didn't have a lot of option, mate. I was kicked out there.
No, but
I was very fortunate. I was bought by a brilliant football man. I've gone from exactly what this conversation. What the whole point of the conversation is, if you can go into a big club. I mean, I sent a message to a good friend of mine who's had throat cancer for years, and I said, you've done it again. He's a big Spurs fan. Mike Collett is a great fella. Used to be a big journalist. And I said, you've done it again. You beat them again. Keep beating them. I said, by the way, I love having lunch with you because I love White Hart Lane. I love playing there. I used to watch the double team play there. I said, but the problem is I end up at Arsenal with Terry Neal. I says, And that was the downfall of me at Arsenal. I was half an injury and half him, so I had to go. I walked out. But it's all about, you mentioned about you can go, you can be the best player in the world, but if you can go in and you don't get on with it well with a manager, you're a million, aren't you, Tel?
Well, listen, I was lucky, and the only one where we really didn't get on, and I never had any arguments with Cloughie. I had arguments with Jack, but not like arguments where people think you were falling out. We were like a man and a woman. We'd have a big argument, and next minute we're going out for a drink together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was forgotten. right? But I said to him, one day I did say to him, I said, I'm fucking sick of this. It's always me. We just won 5-1 and you're having a go. He said, but you're the only one I can have a go at and never get his head down. So I have to take it for everybody. But this is where I disagree with you. It weren't your fault. The continental players, they can express themselves about the team and how it's happening. When you or people like you try to express yourself, and you're not criticising the manager, you're trying to help him. And then they think, well, who does he think he is? I'm the manager of this team. And you're right, you're 100% right. You're only as good as what the manager is because he picks the team. When I look at you play 3 times for England, it's a complete disgrace.
Yeah, absolutely.
I look at Charlie George, 67 minutes. It's a disgrace. Malcolm McDonald scored 5 goals. He may have played another game. Big Frank, they can't play all the forwards together. I get that, but play the ones what's in form at the right time.
Well, I think it's quite obvious that we've had this conversation. It's almost as if I've had this conversation with you every time I've talked about football. And we always go back. It always ends up with the manager. I remember walking into my first season in the game was 1970. Got to the cup final, missed the cup final for injury, but I was second. Billy Bremner won Football of the Year. I come second, runner up.
Yeah.
Went to the dinner that night, and Malcolm Allison was holding court as he did in them days. Big Mal. He was all right. He was all right. You get to know him. He was all right. But I thought at that time, who the fucking hell are you talking to? And I've walked into the company. I'm not even walking into his company. I'm not interested. And I walked along, and he went, "Oh, have a drink." Someone went, "Oh, have a drink." And I went, "But," and he went, and he put his hand out to me, shake my hand. He went, "I weren't too sure about you at the beginning. I didn't think you could play, but I kind of do now." And I thought, who are you talking about? My dad would have smacked him in the mouth. My dad would have said, "Go and piss off." He said, don't treat my son like that. But he thought he was God at that time,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Play people like Malcolm. The only thing I knew of Malcolm was when him and Terry Venables was at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And Darlington were then in the 4th division. And I was playing for Doncaster. And him and Terry Venables had come to look at me play for Doncaster at Darlington. And he fell off the chair. Or the chairs broke. Because in those days, they were wooden chairs. And I hear this big roar, I turns around. And it was Malcolm had just got up, we were getting back up off the floor. And that's the only time I ever, I knew of him in the game, but I never came across him, never really met him. Cloughy signed me, Tommy Dock signed me, McMenemy signed me, Howard Kendall signed me, Big Jack signed me. And Ron tried to sign me for Man United. So there were plenty there who I played with. And I found them all great. Barring McMenemy, the reason why I found him a bit difficult because how Bally were with me, and Bally always used to be with Laurie. Always used to be with Laurie. And then when I come to say, we went all over racing and everything, because as you know as I do, he loved horse racing, didn't he? And he got somebody to go with. The players.
Well, that was Mickey Shannonland, wasn't it? It was Southampton was all about.
Mickey gone by then.
Well, but it was all about Mick. He was down there. That's the only reason Ozzy signed. He lived Windsor way, Epsom way, and he didn't want to come to Stoke. He agreed to come to Stoke, but he thought, "Oh, that's handy. Shannon's down at Southampton. My mate Mick and Bally, and all that is all." So that was his reason for going there. It wasn't a football decision at all. Although he got to the cup final with them. But Ozzy would have been an even better player if he'd come to Stoke in our team, because we had a wonderful football team. With Greenhoff. Him and Greenhoff would have been a dream partnership. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes, without a question of a doubt.
So, boys, going back to the England team of today, who would your midfield three be? I mean, personally, I thought Elliot Anderson was tremendous in both games. I love the way that he wants the ball. He's brave. I look at Declan Rice. I look at Jordan Henderson. They're both pointers. They're telling the player, the defender, where the ball should go. Now, Elliot Anderson drops deep and commands and demands the ball. And I'd play Jack in front of him and Gibbs White. That would be my midfield three. My midfield three in the 70s would have been Ball, Hudson and Curry. By the way, I tried to get Tony Curry on tonight, but failed. So who would your midfield three be today, Al? And while I'm at it, I thought the Serbian team were awful, but the Yugoslavian team of 74, when we played them on the 5th of June 74, they had a player that wouldn't have looked out of place in that team the other night, and that was Vladislav Bogisavic. So I do want to talk a little bit about Blecky and Bogi, as he was called when he went to the Cosmos.
Well, that was the game I should have played in before West Germany, Paul.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And
Bogi
obviously, I played against Bogi several times after that. But he was some player. I mean, I actually said to my son Alan last night at half time, I said, I'm watching the Serbs play who they mentioned about Red Star, Belgrade. Yeah. Bogi used to play for them. I said, and I'm watching their players tonight. And I said, I wonder what Bogi's thinking, sitting down watching this team play. You know, they were awful, absolutely awful. But, I mean, Bogi was a little bit of Tony Curry, but 6'2", 6'3". He's a giant of a man. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable player. He wouldn't have got in the England team. He was far too good.
So who gets in your midfield today, Al? If we're, the next game that we play, who would your midfield trio be? Or if you're going to play that for, would you include Jack? Would you have Gibbs White? Would you have Eze in there? Bellingham, does he come back in? The wide players, Madueke, I was impressed with Madueke. Who's going to play on that left-hand side? I think that we've got some tremendous talent. And we've got a lot of talent to come back in.
Well, I've got to say, it's all about these systems. Harry Kane's obviously been the best centre forward in the world for a few years now, and I said in Euros they should have left him out. And in one game they said they got to bring Ollie Watkins on. This kid had a fantastic season for Villa, unbelievable. I think. And I believe they should play two up. I think they should play two men up front. I don't care. I mean, the other night, Harry was up there. They got about 8 defenders and 1 up. Yeah. So, therefore, we're playing, again, the 100 passes round from side to side to side. I mean, if the fella don't score own goal, I don't know how long we'd have been there, But I'm with you, with Gibbs White.
Yeah.
You're asking me something now which I didn't think I could ever think this would happen to me. I couldn't name the 3 midfield players because I don't watch it anymore. I didn't even watch it the other night, Gab.
Yeah.
It's only because I look at it and the wokeness of it. That's the only reason why I don't watch it. I don't see anybody that we're capable of getting me off my feet. And that could be a left back, which I've always said this: we have great play. We have some great players in this country. We've never picked them. We've never picked them, in a sense, in a team, what's been balanced enough. So for me to look at the team itself and say, well, so and so, because just like you back then, when I said to Tony Pritchard, that's his name, Tony Pritchard, he was a reporter for Sheffield United. I said they would be my 3 midfield players. But I'm not going to sit here and wild guess at it because I don't watch it as much now as I used to do. I really don't. And I couldn't tell you all the players' names. Having said that, there's a lot more foreign players that in the game now, and it's nothing to do with that. It's just that I've lost the interest of listening. I mean, they sack all the people on Sky. Even if it were a bad game, we had a bit of a laugh, and you think, well, it took away the disappointment. Now, you wear the things that you think to yourself. People are saying things because they're getting paid to say, or they will lose the job. So I'm not going to beat behind the bush. I don't watch it like I used to watch it.
I am a big fan, though, of Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, Tuchel's had him in a few squads and really not played him. But when I watch him play for Forest, I love the way he gets that ball on the half turn. And the same with Jack. And I think that if we've got players like that in midfield, we've got that creativity. I've never been a fan of Declan Rice. What's your opinion, boys, on Declan?
I don't know. We've had this on your show when I've done the show here. It's I don't think the two most gifted, you go back to what Terry talking about, the gifted players, and there's no doubt about it. Palmer's one of them. He had a bad spell with Chelsea, and then he come back. This kid is gifted. Eze's gifted. In your midfield, whatever way you want to play it, I think Gibbs White is one of those players that I love. What I love about him, he's everywhere. He's an everywhere player. You'll see him up front on the left. You'll see him tackling back. You'll see him everywhere. So you've got to have that. But you've got to get rid of that rigidity. It's so rigid. The thing is so rigid now. You know where everyone is. It's like you know what's going to happen before it happens.
They're frightened to death of being out of the team. When I looked again. And I'm saying you because you're on this program. I'm talking to you. And if I didn't think you were good enough, I'd have turned around and said, "Well, he weren't my cup of tea." What I'm talking, when I watched you play, I knew things were going to happen. And Stoke City, what's saying? Tony Curry played in the Sheffield United team. It weren't a great Sheffield United team, but it was a good team. Alan Winger, what they called him now? Woodward. Jeff Salmons, what a great player. What a great left foot Jeff had got. That Sheffield United team, they got a good team. And Curry was the icing on the cake. It made things happen.
I think they might have just struggled if you took TC out.
Well,
although yes. Jeff Salmons come to us, he was superb.
He got a great left foot, Jeff.
Yeah.
And he got one of the biggest things I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh, well, I was his roommate, so I can agree with that.
So in Northern Cyprus.
By the way, he's not black either.
Tell Terry about Morocco. It's a great story, you and Sammy in Morocco, wasn't it?
Well, it was a bit. Morocco was. We were going to end up in Marrakesh in a deep hole, me and Sammy, and they walked out of this nightclub about 3 a.m, and they lined the staircase, and this fella, the governor who'd fix it all up, he set us up because when we want to pay, he sent a bird over to sit in the middle of us and start all this game, and we knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden I said, "Sam, we better get out of here." And anyway, we said we'll pay the bill. We said, "Well, we don't we don't take English money." So I said, "We'll go back to the hotel and get it. You bring one of your men and we'll give you the money." "Well, why don't you take English money anyway?" So we knew it was a set up anyway. But this fella talking to us, he had a set of teeth like he just had them done that day in this with the best dentist in the world, and he couldn't stop smiling and everything else. And I know what was going on through Sammy's mind. What was going in his mind is, I think they're going to go, mate. They're going to go, and they walked us up the steps toward this car, and next thing you know, he turned around to this fella and he's put his nut on these railings. And mate, it was all over. There was chaos. And they got us in this car and we was off to Marrakesh. The last sign I see before the tunnel was Marrakesh. And I said to Sammy, "Good job they didn't have locks on the car." I said, "We get out at the next red light." And we got out and we walked, and the car followed us back. It was still touch and go till we got to the hotel, but Sammy could handle himself. Yes. I mean, you wouldn't want to mess about with him, and he was tough. He was a
tough lad, yeah.
Yeah, and he was honest as the days long. he told Tony when in the bar in Cyprus, he said, you're signing. And then Sammy said to him, it's 3-4 in the morning. And he went to him, Chevy United won't let me go. And Tony said to him, the deal's done. They want you out. They want you. We'll come in. He said, I've got a ready-made roommate for you standing next to you. What are you talking about? The deal's done. He said, well, I've got to tell you something. He says, I don't want you to find out after half a dozen games. He says, I go out on a Friday night, you know. I've got to have 6 or 7 pints because my nerves are terrible, he said. He said, if you keep playing like that, you do what you want. Don't worry. And that was it. That was it. Job done.
You got into some scraps. You did at Norwich as well, didn't you, when you were playing darts?
But going back to the England scenario, you look at John Barnes. At Liverpool, he looks a world beater. Yes, he plays certain games for England, right? Frank Lampard and Gerrard struggled to produce it for England, what they do. We know they're good players. But you got Paul Scholes. Where did they play him? They play him out on wing. And all we can do in this country is want to bollock people instead of talking to people and say, look, this is what... I mean, I hear people, when I played at Forest, I hear people talk about Cloughie when they said, could never understand him, what he was thinking. Well, I understood everything he said. And I mean this, I understood everything he said. He signed Frank Clark from Newcastle, experienced player, right? And he played him at left back. And Frank says so-and-so to him. And he says to Frank, I haven't fucking brought you here to play football. Get the ball and give it to fucking Robinson. That's all I want you to fucking do, young man. And it made the game simple. Martin O'Neill and Robbo said to me one day, why does he pick John McGovern? Now, John McGovern was the best cross-country runner in club. Right? Me and Uddy beat him now over 5 yards back then, and we've got bad knees. But he could run all day. And the best one at the club then, when he came in, was Peter With. He was another great cross-country runner. Right? We'd go around lakes and whatever. But it wasn't a lot of hard work with Cloughie. So Robbo and Martin once said to me, he says, because Martin always wanted to play midfield, centre midfield. And Robbo said, why does Gaffer always pick him, John McGovern? I said, because he can do something that we can't do. How do you mean? Yeah. I said, he gets the ball. John McGovern didn't like Cloughie. He wouldn't want to go out for a night out with him. He liked him, but not in a sense, because he used to belittle him, in a sense, because he would say to him, I haven't fucking brought you here to play football. You can't play football. Get the ball, and when they fucking lose it, get it back for them. And that's what he used to say. And I said, what they did, well, give it. When they give it to you, Robbo, and then you do your magic. Martin, that's what he would do. Get the ball, give it to you, and do your little bit of magic. Get us a goal, make us a goal. And just made things simple.
Well, that's it. You know, that's the problem. It's the mugs that complicate the game, Taylor. But that story is was updated with in '66 with no, it was before, wasn't it? Alan Ball tells the story. He says he called him and Nobby Styles across. Yeah, and he's although he got Bally wrong because Bally became one of the great inside forwards. Yeah. But he called him both across. He said, you'll both be playing in the first game. You'll both be playing, you know. He says, can I ask you if you got a dog? So I went, yeah, of course I've got a dog. He said, well, what do you do with a dog? Do you take him out for a walk? I said, yeah. So he says, what do you do? He said, do you throw a ball or a stick? He said, well, he got a ball. He said, we throw a ball. He said, what's he do? He said, goes and gets it, bring it back. He said, well, that's what you two are going to do with Bobby Charlton.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep. That's how they coached back in those days. All the coaches.
Well, that's the simplest way of putting it.
And it's still prevalent today, isn't it? Win the ball, give it to players that can play.
But Gabby, when you look at people like Chris Waddle, he played 86 times for England. You watch him when he went to France, Marseille.
But they're allowed
he
to play
looked a
that
world
way.
beater. He looked a world beater. Right? And he looked a great player at Tottenham. But when he's in England, he's not producing. But he's not getting the balls like he would do at Tottenham.
Because he's told to play that way, and
the manager, exactly. Chris Waddle's one of the best wingers we've had.
Yeah.
Right? But for some unknown reason, right? But at least he got 86 games out of it. Uddy got 3.
2.
Right?
It's a joke. England played 100 games in the 70s. Al played 2. It's an absolute disgrace. He should have played most of them. But I remember Big Ron telling us about Laurie Cunningham. He went to watch Laurie playing for England, and he said after the game, "Laurie, what was all that about?" He said, "You don't do that for me." And he says, "Gaffer, that's the way I was told to play." And unfortunately, when we play for England, players are told to play that way, aren't they? And the results we get. Negative.
And if you don't play that way, you're out of the team.
I mean, Cloughie was in Amsterdam, Al, with you when you played Ajax, wasn't he? Cloughie and Waddington were great pals. I think Tony Waddington would have been a great England manager. What do you reckon?
I really do, yeah. I'm a bit biased, but I've got a right to be biased because, I mean, Terry mentioned earlier on about the players he bought. He was a shrewdy as well. We had
an upper corner shot's just deflected by the goalie. It's a corner kick. Wow! Incredible!
A beautiful shot!
No, that fan earned 2% cash rewards buying Pulisic merch.
They're using the Active Cash Visa credit card from Wells Fargo, which scores unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases.
Scoring 2% more. Wonder what that's like.
Oh, it's like... Go!
Score off the field with the Active Cash Visa credit card from Wells Fargo. Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Visa, worldwide partner of FIFA World Cup 26.
Impressive.
High Five Casino is the top sweepstakes casino that's free to play. Sign up today to receive a free welcome bonus and exclusive first purchase offers. Choose the premium jackpot package for $29.99 and claim up to 700 game coins, 55 sweeps coins, 1 sweeps coin daily bonus for 5 days, and 400 diamonds. Your high five moment awaits at highfivecasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Probably his greatest signing was Gordon Banks, maybe. He bought him for silly money off Leicester because he thought Leicester said we got a great keeper coming through, Shilton. So Leicester stole Gordon off of them because they had Shilton coming through. And it's only the car accident. If he'd not had the car accident, he'd have been in a team when I got there and we would have won the league because that was a difference. He had 3 World Cup. He had he got Jeff Hurst when he was past it, George Eastham at the end of his career. Not only did he buy them because they were great players and they were in a World Cup, but he did it because of the youngsters in the club and they could learn from them and watch them and train them and watch them around the dressing room on a Saturday and get to know them. And that's what you do as a kid. That's what I did at Chelsea. I mean, I remember we had Jim McCallion on the podcast and Jim had been everywhere, and I had to thank him for me being a kid when he was there and stuff like that. Venables before me. So you take little things out of people's game and you try and improve them, But I couldn't agree more. But what everyone says about Brian Clough, I agree. He would have been a great manager, unbelievable. But Tony's the ace for me. So not
again,
he'd love you, Terry, as well.
Again, you underdoing yourself, because Puffy always said to us, if you ever get a manager's job, make sure you get a world-class goalkeeper. But players like you didn't bother with whether you went to play, because I can remember Howard Kendall, and this was relating back to what you were on about. Kendall says to me, I meet Kendall in Birch Services up at M62. And he thinks he's getting me because I'm playing 3rd Division football. Right? I'm playing 3rd Division football, going to Everton, it's a massive club, and it is a massive club. And you go in and they think they can not dictate to you, you're going to bow down to them. So he said to me, I'll give you £500 a week and 10 grand. Well, I'm due 25 grand from Sheffield. I got 50,000. 25 in my hand, which they pay tax on, because I always made sure I got all them signed, and 25 in my contract. So he offers me £500 a week and 10 grand. So I said, and I took this guy out with me, Jerry Webster. Anyway, I said, come on, Jerry. So Howard looks at me and he said to me, what do you mean? Come on. I said, we're going. I said, I'm giving 500 to Sheffield United, right? Because I'm playing third division football. I says, you were at bottom of the league when I come here.
Yeah.
Right? And when I come to your house, and he's a lovely man, Howard, as you know Howard, don't you?
Yeah, lovely, yeah.
Lovely, lovely man. I said, when I come to your house, all over his garage, right? It was like, fuck off, Kendall. Bye, bye, bye. He was having a rough time, and I mean a rough time. And it turned round for him, and it obviously turned out Everton's best manager. I'm a great player, great manager, and he was a great manager.
Yeah.
So, because what he said to me, he said, do you want to play for Everton, or do you want to play in third division? I said, it wouldn't make any difference to me, because I just love football. I said, if I played at Halifax, it wouldn't make any difference. And Alan, that's how I've always been.
Yeah, yeah.
You should always play at the highest level. But it didn't make any difference. So I left the next day. All the headlines are in paper. Greedy Curran, so-and-so, so-and-so. Right? So, but he said to me, what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for the 25,000 what I'm owed and £1,000 a week. Hey, what, £1,000 a week? He said, nobody in this football club's on £1,000 a week. And
no, you are.
But we won the FA Cup. And I'm sure Derek Mountfield were on £125 a week when we won the FA Cup in '84. Right? Because they just bought him from Tranmere and he broke into its side early because Mark Higgins and Billy Wright, the other centre-back, both got bad injuries. So Derek got into the team early and it turned out to be brilliant for them to get injured. And I would nearly joke. He said, nobody gets that here. I said, so anyway, I left. A month later, he phones me up. I'm at Dog Track in Sheffield. I get a phone call from Mrs. to Dog Track. They announced over at Tannoy, can I come to the manager's office? I go upstairs. He said, your wife's on the phone. Can you go home? So I went home. She said, Howard Kendall's phoning you back up. Anyway, he rings, picks phone up. He says, you've got what you've asked for. And I signed. Yeah. So it made it out that I was being greedy when I weren't. I was just going for what I was worth. And my first game back there, I get injured. And I'm out for 6 months. He rushes me back to play semi-final at FA Cup. I play in that against Southampton. I play 3 more games, pulls my hamstring, and I miss out on FA Cup. So I missed out. Forest, when I got a bad injury with my knee, I did my ligaments at Forest. And at Everton, I pulled a muscle in my thigh and missed out on everything there. And both teams were struggling when I went to them. So you're doing yourself an injustice because you were as good as anybody, well, not in the country, in the world. And that Stoke turned out to be a top team. I mean, you nearly won the league with that team.
Won the league, yeah, 75. But you two almost were teammates in America as well.
Yes.
You.
Is he still alive?
Alan
Is he still alive, Alan Hinton?
He is, mate. Yeah.
Right. Next time you speak to him.
It's a shame. His daughter called me about 3 months ago, and she said, "Can we meet up?" I said, "When?" She said, "Tonight." I went, "You're joking." I said, "No." She said, I come over with my mum and dad. My dad gone to the so many years of Nottingham Forest winning. Yeah. So what a left foot.
Oh, what a great player he was. Well, listen to this, Alan. So anyway,
yeah,
he.
Oh yeah.
I was rooming with Barley. So who comes in? So Barley says to me, "Listen, Alan Hinton's trying to buy you, take you to America." But Barley knew I was going to, and he was trying to stop me going to Forest, not to Forest, but to Sheffield Wednesday. And he was saying to me, "You're too good to be playing third division football." I said, "Look, Alan, I'm going. That's what I want to go. I want to go play for Sheffield Wednesday." So I spoke with Alan Hinton, and he offered me 10 grand. So I said to him, "What's he getting?" McMenemy says, "Oh, he's getting 17." I said, "Well, do you think if I'm going for 10 and he's going to get 17 out of it?" Right? and else, I would have caught you were playing then for Seattle Sounders.
You had a great time there, Al, didn't you?
Oh, you missed out, Terry. You missed out.
Nightclub in Bellevue.
Nightclub in Bellevue. No. my front room was a nightclub, mate.
Exactly, yeah. Who was the fella that built it? He was an Englishman, wasn't he, Al? Built your bar.
He was, mate. He was. He had the strangest name. His name was Timon Sinclair. Timon. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, Timon. Yeah.
The first thing I had to do was get him to build me a bar and sort my bar area out and sort the little nightclub out. But we had some. It was great. It was a greatest working holiday. And when people used to knock the NASL, it was a great league. Great league.
Well, I did go over. My captain at team at Sheffield Wednesday, my mate, Mick Pickering, he went out and played there for a while. And Jevy, who came with me to Everton, even though I did all the talking, took Pickers out there to San Diego. San Diego. So I went out there with them two just to keep Pickers a bit of company. But we went there for about 10 days. Anyway, I'm training with them, and they're trying to get me to sign out there. I'll tell you who was out there. Daniel, remember the Polish guy? He got killed out. They got killed out there in a car crash, or he got run over by a car or something.
Really?
When I was out there,
there he was.
But I did go out. First time I'd ever seen it, where they would like put the ball at the half after the game. There were no draws. They put the ball to the halfway line, and then you'd have to go and run. And I couldn't stop.
That weren't the halfway. That was a 30-yard line. It's a shootout, they called it.
Yeah, shootout. That's it. That's right.
And you had I think 10 seconds or whatever. It was great. It was quite unique. I remember I scored the first one. I scored the first one in New York, which won us a game. My first season there, and we'd never won in New York. And they made me man of the match, and I said no. I said, fella called Steve Butler. I said, give it to him. He was the best player. But they said, well, he said you've done something right because Pele took 8 and he didn't score.
That's another thing you don't see now. You don't see people getting the ball and going around the goalkeeper, do you?
No.
Be better than penalties, to be fair.
Yeah.
That shootout is decent. 10 seconds, score a goal, rather than a penalty shootout. But at Cosmos, they had some team as well, didn't they? Giorgio was out there, wasn't he? What a legend.
But they had so many different teams, Paul. That's the thing, Their top man was Giorgio Shinaglia. He was...
he played with Swansea, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He did.
And Lazio.
They let him go, and he went. Then he went over there, didn't he? And he was a nothing when he went over there, and he became a god, And he
That's right. He went a big name over here. Then he went into America, and like you said, he became a god.
Played for Lazio in '73. It's, I think, the first time they won the Scudetto. And if you want to have a look at the story of Lazio, what a load of nut jobs they were. They were They were a gun crazy team. The story about that side is one of the most iconic in world football. And Giorgio was very much involved in all of that, as he was with the Cosmos. Johan Cruyff played some games. I don't think Johan actually played in the NSL for them, but he played games like the Harlem Globetrotters. They'd go all over. They'd come and play Chelsea, didn't they, Al?
Yeah, he played at the Bridge one night. I was at the game, funnily enough. He was Chelsea couldn't get the ball off him. They were magnificent. Strangely enough, I was out in the afternoon. I used to go to this Turkish bath and in the mornings to do a bit of training, and because I was on the run from Arsenal at that time, and I went in a pub in Bayswater and I was speaking to this Dutch fella and he said, I'm Johan Cruyff's uncle. I said, what are you doing here? He says, I'm going to Stamford Bridge tonight. Would you like to come? I said, I'm already going, mate. I'm in the box with the boys. I said, but, oh, please, you know. But I'd already played against Johan by then 2 or 3 times. But, he just done the tour games, Paul, didn't he?
He did, yeah. First time you seen Johan was when Chelsea dropped off, didn't they? What was it, 1970? It's when you discovered the red light district, Heineken and Johan Cruyff.
Well, yes, and Heineken and Johan Cruyff, yeah. Well, he come on the field before the game. We said he couldn't be. He ran funny, didn't he? And he come on. He can't be good. He's one of their subs. He's number 14.
I can remember him wearing 14. And I used to then, because the numbers then weren't like they are now. And you think, why is he wearing 14?
Yeah.
But first time,
number 9 shirt.
Yes, first time I saw him, I thought, wow, like all the great players,
he was something else, Terry. Yeah.
One of the all-time greats. I tell you another one that does never get a mention in terms of all-time greats. Laszlo Kubala. A Hungarian.
That was a drink.
No, it's not a Crown Royal, Al.
I thought he was talking about Cuba at first. I thought he was talking about Cuba at first.
Kubala was the reason that Barcelona left their old stadium and went to the Camp Nou. He'd left Hungary, one of the first to leave Hungary, and he had a tremendous journey, ended up at Barcelona. But if you look at the story of Kubala, in fact, Mike Summerby always says to Big Ron, here comes Kubala. They always have a laugh about Kubala. But if you look at him, he's probably the one world-class top player that always gets overlooked. But he was sheer class.
What about him, Alan? Gunter Netzer?
Oh, legend.
Well, a lot of people thought he played in that game. It was the West Germany game, but he never played. Overhalf played, didn't he?
Yeah.
But Gunter, the year before in the European Championship, they slaughtered England. He was absolutely out of this world, wasn't he?
Unbelievable.
He was the one that you learned. That's what I'm saying about when you're kids and you're at clubs and you watch players and you see this fella Beckenbauer when they moved him to centre half to play, so he couldn't be marked, and it was just him. We give it to Gunter, and off he went, didn't he? He was just amazing.
If there's any young kids or young when I say young kids, even footballers playing today, get on that YouTube and type in Alan Hudson, and you'll see the difference in the midfield players back then to what they are now, the quality. And look at, that keeps coming up, and I have to laugh. That Stoke game against Derby. I played for Derby, but that's got to be the worst pitch. Well, QPR were bad, but Derby's was the worst pitch ever.
That was.
But that Stoke game. But the more you look at that and analyse it, look at the control, Alan.
Yeah.
The balls would would fly up off at divots, and the players would just snap it back straight away. It's unreal, isn't it, when you think about it? People like you and Curry and Frank and Stan and Dave Thomas, what would you give to play on pitches? Forget the money. We don't like that money side of it. But what would you give to play on those pitches and not being kicked?
Strangely enough, I love them. I love them pitches. Mate, I love them.
Yeah, but I'm not saying
because it was a test for me. But not only did I love them, I had a bad ankle because and so they give me that bit of give. But it was from 1970. But what it did for me, you're talking about earlier on about cross countries. I used to train for over 90 minutes, and I was running on them pitches. I was running on, like Cheltenham Gold Cup up that hill.
Yeah,
Terry.
But what I'm saying about it, I wouldn't change mine. But what I would give to be able to, because people forget, not only those pitches were bad, the tackling was brutal, absolutely brutal. I mean, everybody goes on about that Leeds Chelsea game, that FA Cup, and it was a brutal game. You know, if you wanted to play football, you're both going to play football. If you wanted a fight or a kicking match, we'll do that. But players like you, what I'm saying, players like you, and we know you wouldn't change it. But how much better would you have been if you'd been able to play on those pitches and not... Look, I love Messi and I love Ronaldo. But I'm telling you that now. This is my opinion and nobody will change my thoughts about it. They wouldn't get the goals to Kevin because they would have been brutally kicked out of the game like Maradona was, like you were, like Charlie Cook was. I mean, Jim McCalliog was my favourite Sheffield Wednesday player.
Hi, I'm Derek Klassen, host of the Athletic Football Show. Today, I want to talk to you about Boost Mobile, offering reliable nationwide coverage backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Love your service or get your money back. No questions asked. Boost Mobile offers the same nationwide coverage, network speed, and service consumers are used to, but at more affordable prices. Why would you pay more if you don't have to? Boost Mobile also understands that change can be scary, which is why they allow you to try their service risk-free for 30 days. And if you're not happy, you can get your money back. So start saving on wireless today with Boost Mobile's unlimited plans starting at just $25 a month. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find us online at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan. Customers who cancel within 30 days of activation will have Boost service fees refunded. Activation fees, if applicable, and phone payments will not be refunded. The Boost Mobile network, together with their roaming partners, covers 98% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds are not available in all areas.
High Five Casino is the top social casino that's free to play. Sign up today to receive a free welcome bonus and exclusive first purchase offers. Choose the Lucky Deal package for $9.99 and claim up to 550 game coins, 33 sweeps coins, 1 sweep coin daily bonus for 4 days, and 350 diamonds. Your high five moment awaits at highfivecasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
George Best is my all-time favourite player, and I've seen him all, and I still, Cruyff, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Pele. They're all great players. Rivellino, they're all fantastic. You would have been, and Hudson, and all those players we've had in this country would have been in that category if we'd have had managers would have allowed you players to express yourself. Because you know as well as I do, how many managers would have let Messi walk around on a football field? And you're going to turn around and say, well, when he's that good, it didn't happen like that. Playing in Barcelona team, them playing in a Forest team, right? We're nowhere near as good as that Barcelona team. It's so simple. We're playing with great players, and you know that yourself.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is when you look back at the managers you've had and you played for, and you run through brick walls for, run miles for, and whatever. You look back and you just mentioned, the one at Chelsea didn't do me any good. He was a coach. The one at Arsenal didn't do me any good. And then I come across Jimmy Gabriel, who was a great player and a great manager. Alan Hinton, Tony Wadden, them three. They never once told me how to play, and that was the beauty of playing for them. Yeah. They just signed me and said, go and do it, so that was it.
You'll know a guy who was best coach I played under. We've all got ideas in his head how to do things. But as a young kid, he taught me certain things. They called him Frank Blunston.
Oh,
right? And Frank was a winger, wasn't he? And when I went to Derby, he was watching so he pulled me to one side and he said to me, and he stood me in an area, and he said, look where your shoulders facing. He said, that's where the ball will go. He says, if you can open your body up, right? If you can open your body up, The goals are there, and you open your body up like that. Look where you can play the ball now. You can play it there. You can play it there. You can play it near. You can play it far. And that taught me a lot. And when my lads tried to take the piss out of me, I said, "Let me tell you something. Not many, because I went and played in third division. Bally went mad with me. My dad went mad with me. A lot of other players went mad with me. Jimmy Greaves went mad with me. Right? Jimmy Greaves, when he was writing for the Daily Sun, I think, or Daily Express, whatever it was. And he said to me, "Why are you playing?" I said, "Because I'm fed up of football." And you know why I'm talking about that, because you got fed up of it, how they would treat you.
Yeah.
You know, people think that people like us are a problem, and we're not. Because we're the ones.
It's quite the opposite.
We are the ones what would run through that brick wall for them.
Yeah.
When the other ones wouldn't do that.
All about managers, anyhow.
Oh, we always end up with that one, mate. I think we got to end up as well. I've got people coming round at 8 o'clock.
Company.
It's great. Well, what shirt you got on there, boy? Is that Birmingham City?
Well, I was going to wear.
Is it my t-shirt?
It's actually a Curran 79 shirt.
Oh, that'd do. I can't see it because of Mike.
Yeah, well, Chris positions me right behind the mic.
Yeah.
And sticks the camera where he sticks the camera. Yeah. I'm just governed by him. Again, it's about management. He's my manager. And you played for some great managers. And the manager makes the difference. That's one of the things, Al, that I've learned from you, how important it is. But what's also important is friends coming round. I've got to drive half the way around Birmingham, and all Terry's got to do is just turn over and go to sleep. He's in his Kingsley house.
And me.
And him.
Well, he's been through it, the old boy. He's been through it.
I've had to do all that, you know, myself.
Have you done your cooking tonight, by the way, too? Have you had your tea?
I've made a beautiful meatball for them too. I'm not eating. I've just had a sandwich. As you get older, you don't eat as much. So I did them a spaghetti meatball like a mum I used to make it.
You are great.
So listen, you must come up with this. I'm still in touch with this fella that wanted you to come in the box at Stoke.
Yes, we'll sort a game out.
We'll sort it out this season.
Yes, I'll definitely come down. Definitely. But I was poorly out. I was really.
Yeah, I remember you.
I know you were. I know you were. I mean, Christ Almighty, I know that, mate. I know. But we kept in touch with the lad in Sheffield. Steph, his name is.
We'll definitely come to the Stoke game.
We'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it. My mate, I'll check up on him and we'll book in.
And get your
into a hotel, not a hospital, a hotel.
Get your young Alan to come and all.
Oh, he's coming, mate. He wouldn't miss it.
I know he's come off of Facebook, but the look
they barred him, and political reasons.
They do the same with me. Take me off as Terry Curran now. I'm on there as Edward.
Yeah, but
they'll not grind me down.
Right, you'll have to come.
I'll keep a good man down.
It's been a great night. We'll have to get back together. Part of the team, 3 Musketeers, Hudson, Curran and Collins. It's got a bit of a ring to it, ain't it? See you later.
Well.
Good night, everybody. See you later, Well.
Great to see you, Terry.
Great talking to a legend. Good night, Chris.
And you.
Brilliant. I'll speak to you all later.
Good luck, mate. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Boys.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, pal. See you now.
See you. Bye.
Ta-ra, lads.
Ya vienen los touchdowns. ¿Estás listo? Esta temporada de la NFL convierte las jugadas grandes en premios con DraftKings Sportsbook, un socio oficial de apuestas deportivas de la NFL. Descarga la app de DraftKings Sportsbook y usa el código HEART. Ese es el código HEART para recibir $200 en bonus bets al instante cuando hagas tu primera apuesta de $5. En colaboración con DraftKings, la corona es tuya. ¿Problemas con el juego? Llama al 1-800-GAMBLER. En Nueva York, llama al 877-8-HOPE-NY o envía un mensaje de texto con la palabra HOPE-NY al 467-369. En Connecticut, hay ayuda disponible para problemas con el juego. Llama al 888-789-7777 o visita ccpg.org. Juega responsablemente. En nombre de Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Debe ser mayor de 21 años. Pueden aplicarse cargos en Illinois. La elegibilidad varía según la jurisdicción. No válido en Ontario. Las apuestas de bonos son de un solo uso. La apuesta no se incluye en las ganancias y caducan después de ser otorgadas. La oferta finaliza el 29 de septiembre 2025 a las 11:59 p.m. hora del este. Los términos en DraftKings.com/sportsbook/promos.
Fridays just got competitive. Join High Five Casino Happy Hour on Friday from 5 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time and go head-to-head in the Ultimate Slot Showdown. Play a curated lineup of exhilarating games from your favorite provider. The best titles, one event, big bragging rights. Climb the leaderboard and compete for up to 10,000 SC. Think you've got what it takes to be High Five's best? Log in during happy hour and spin your way to the top. HighFiveCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
At Capella University, we believe accessible education can make a difference. That's why we offer scholarship opportunities to all eligible students. Un futuro diferente está más cerca de lo que crees con Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.